집이 제타르들라 이는 조금 제야되다 템바진 조상공기 숭기서레스 때마다 양 배작하시나라 지 따왔던 람바네 아니 이거 옴제다 옴도는 따와서 따도는 곰바스와서 양시들 말아요 용구도와 계속 간사 고생 간사 개버진 때리 나사진 서레스.
Moving on to the next page 123 of the two meditative techniques, analytical and formal analysis, is as follows. So analytical and as you know, single-pointed or meditation or placement. So these two techniques, His Holiness used to say that generally, in general kind of practice, the sequence is first, analytical meditation. You analyze, and when you find something from your analysis, then you go to the second process of single-pointedness or placement. However, there is no definite, sequence, depending on when you come down to individual, different mentalities. There are practices where some practitioners begins with single-pointed meditation and then they move to analysis, and then there are other practitioners like beginning with analysis and investigation, and then through investigation of doctrine or philosophy, then they come to single-pointed meditation.
답변나 알아서 존재지나 담보 제바치 처삼지 제바치 삼바치 곰바치 제바치 제타르들라 옴 자기나 따티 사주체 용구에서레스.
For us, for example, it becomes much more meaningful, much more beneficial if we start from kind of analytical process. We analyze, and to analyze, we start from basically studying and listening and contemplation and going through those processes of learning and understanding, and then whatever we kind of come to the conclusion, we take that into single-pointed meditation or meditation of placement.
Oh yeah. 델타르 진 조금니 치줄니레 지투들 ge고네 텔람 바발라 가자 란징기 tum나 풍보당 오 지당 사대 가르도 두거기 스타팅이라 가준처서 땡이를 만들어버리스 간지 덴버투바이나 야네 풍보당 오 지도 두고야 야네 풍보당 오 타도 두고야 땡이를 만들어버리스 땡이라 가준처서 땡이 라 내버리스 땡이 레전드 두타 메버 타 제바세스 어직다 풍부숨바지 주전전다지 땐자와니니가 말에 땡이라 둠나 따바타송고 둠나 땡이를 지도 두브레스 아니 지 렘비지도 둠나 아니 견송어래 렘비투마 둠나 견송되어래 어다 지소 다 렘비지도 둠나 간데시 형 간데용 거래 렘버투비지 이나 다들 매야차로 와. 코 렘바지 지란지 마도 델릴 강 조제데 지다 타데시야 돼. 뚜두고는 여마도 말테바 렘바지 요마르와. 되게 진내용. 삼탄 땅사지도 와지. 렘바지 지다 투마시야 돼. 다 투마스디 지 인제 투미 생일라 그래. 지다네 투마스디 지리 망하대. 라 투마시 거래. 아니 tindigla chida tumasinde tuni jaguarwa tumal tuni eni ko chigtang chileteni tumasete tuni jarmado korambe matebe chichi yoyo marwa matebe tumaji yoyo marwa ota tindiji tire tini chir pumso gi chukala mang kanlang dachisu seme tupse di dame imbar thalwar chaching chibu dame tu tube 세 다제 임바 양 par number chebe chulki imbala jite thada karunle mindawe chulki tingi kayang mayimba mebe chul ngebar chao se oda tosine kaji tun tuwe inza ko jite thade dosu yongra kaji number tuwe ina nipe daji yonjelo tunele kars pa karsoore 간지 kuji ji tan thade zide malte ba rawang tumna tai kondu juju chen tate kanji daji tupti dawan tele maate zo me arrangin charu ko demba tupti yoro ko judo mekenji tupti yoro ta tendiji gomba je metro kanji ngaranzo te kondu juju karena te tup seji mado malte be rawang mu tubaji yo mare setate sungare
middle paragraph, page 123. In determining selflessness by means of the reasoning that things are free from existing truly as one or distinct from the basis of designation, were the person to exist inherently, it would have to exist invariably as one entity with aggregates or as in different entities. So this is one reasoning, reasoning of either being one or distinct from, that oneness. If a person has to exist independently, hypothetically, if we say that exist independently, inherently, intrinsically, it has to be either exist, one with the aggregate, or totally distinct from aggregate. And there is no, it definitely has no mode of, no other mode of existence than these two. This is because, in general, whenever we prove that any phenomena, such as a vase has parts, the opposite, that it is partless, is refuted. Likewise, when we validly establish that the single object is partless, the opposite, that it has a part, is refuted. As there is no way for something to exist apart from its being either the same as or different from something else, we should be convinced that there is no other mode of existence than these two. If we say, the reverse of what is mentioned here, if a person or self exists independently as a one, then there are many philosophical fallacies or contradictions. If it exists totally in a distinct, different from aggregate, then there are also philosophical kind of problems or contradictions. So the point here is that, again, as we mentioned before, the self or person being lack of independent, intrinsic, or inherent existence, it is, existence. Its existence is dependent upon, factors and conditions, or dependent on arising.
다 취소가 저래도.
취소시다가 뭐 시대차가
제가 신진이 자찬은 디간라. 아니 드라마기디 생활에 돈다 또 슬람나.
So we'll stop here for today and for this part, and we'll explain briefly about the meaning of the mantras of Tara.
어떤 지준 드라마데 틀리기라 라페 ngo니 게 침부차되어래. 아니 지준 드라마 생아 진전나다 틀리기를 라스티가라다 ngo니 지바 겔릭 교비하게 된데게 너무 많이 그쳐인데 괜지 딱 ngo니 지준 드라마 틀리기로 싶으시디가 어레스.
Tara practice, Tara is considered as the deity of activity, and by relying upon Tara practice, there is benefits of freeing from fears, obstacles. We talk about like 8 different fears, and whenever you kind of do practice, not only kind of there is a blessing of protection and purifications of obstacles, but Tara is also considered as kind of quick, in granting those purifications or freedom.
어떤 드라마 기단이 딜링을 보지 ene 소소이 나 이지도 가서 다 드미 초가다 방법이래. 다당 가서 당근 도저 바상이 맞은 이지 당도 갈라텔라 잽실한 요 말에 저장디도 갈라 잽실 매야돼 하장 딜링이와 샘진기 바게 근데 세war라 지진 드마페 투 마저베데 잽실로메데 페베 텐데게 잽실요 말세 수도와 텐데데 시다기 지진 드마 딜링을 보임 받아 배 엔디지 순균한테 송도스 지진 드마 윤도 소와다 지진 드마 생아테 양내양도 지사데나 란징기 돈 두야라 시부지 펜토연데긴지 인사레스.
Practice of Tara. There are many different actually text or scripture that people use for Tara practice. The many different text, and the one that we are using here, in that the offering of water to wash feet, for example, is one offering. That part is missing in that, intentionally kind of missing in that practice, because there is a oral tradition of saying that the granting of Tara's blessing is so quick that there is no time to offer her kind of water to wash her feet, to represent that kind of auspiciousness or symbolism, and therefore reciting Tara's mantra, and therefore engaging in this kind of practice can have many different kinds of benefits.
아니 가전 리는 드마 디디디 당원에 디디도 맞아 자요 말에 디디디 저저 받아야 되샤 에 벌레페 아니 구인유지전에 지진 드마테 저지 연구하래 저저 받아야 되샤라 에 자간에 저지 용되게 아니 저지 용되 용도 시대가 드마 사고도 에 카페데요 아니 드마 아니 미치기 있다 에 드마 때문에 망보시 사야 니마치는 같이 사야 가버치기 도세지 야주디가 아니 지진 로마 랑기 순샤겨 다 좀더나 말라모 로마라 차솔로 차선 로마 따래 보면 또 다른 긴지 군세마 두렸다는 탐제다마 소와 이게 질 알아본들세데 시까지 마지도 와 어다지 지진 로마 랑기 순을 순 진전 예 체도에네 저저 발대야 되지 군용세야 산달라 순인다 제 두다르 긴지 군세마스도 지바 군세도 망보 아니 지바게 겹스데 다베 지바게 마다지게 이군 바지 셀라게 차는 지군 설마스 두렸다는 탐제ter마스 베 두리 옴따레 두따레 두레세거라 두리기 돈따데 베 셈진라 아니 가서 그러다 틸리 가레이나 배 판밤에 봐니 탐제 요소서 봤다베 틸리 가레기 세 노르투 가레 노르이나 가레이나 대통령인지 텐디지 레제데 이게 주디 차상 되는라 꼰대도 이 진lep전 시부지레제데 송원송구도 오다도 시니 자첨부 시부 차대요래
And it's also
라
I have to change the battery again. So I think he's They're all new. Yeah, from the package. Tara recitation that we use here is very, one of the shortest, only one verse that it has, and very short. And the background of this short prayer is that when Atisha, the great Indian scholar Atisha Dipamkar, came to Tibet from India. Atisha has a vision of Tara. He often has a vision of Tara, and so he was advised to recite Tara's chanting, and when he kind of mentioned that Tara's prayer is really long and it would be hard for him to recite many times of that kind of long prayer, then Tara herself kind of came up with this very short chanting, and therefore Tara, this short prayer yet is considered as a very sacred, blessed by Tara herself. And in that prayer, this is one translation. It reads, Om I prostrate to the goddess for destroyer, liberating Lady Tara. Homage to Tare, Savioress heroine, with Tutare dispelling all fears, granting all benefits with Ture. To her with sound Swaha I bow. So in this one verse, you also see kind of the mantra itself, Om Tare, Tutare, Ture, and Swaha, and then each verse kind of just explains in a very brief what those syllable of mantra does. The destructions of all hostilities, hostile forces, and Tare being a savior, and Tutare dispelling all fears, granting all of benefits with this Ture. So you can see kind of quick meaning of the mantra in the verse itself.
Oda temai bajan dizuchila Om de kasanajinche Om au mazade iki sumde tubaborang lunga isum samata o Tare sidigala ngoni trolla gorsta trolla gore karel troll gora ngaso chinda jilli chingwa jilli troll gora chi damde na dambade trollate lobare troll sidigala damboje damde na telu logo gora ta nganso samgin ji pale trollwas koina hibichung chorta suntek dine du yongwares tontate tindigal hibichung pepe Kemruni is one of the Kibuchung Chorde Chazaji didn't do Yongware. Nazon Sanginchi Paletrone, Montola da mi, Divuti Montola da mi, Copandere.
Kibusum Gilamis.
Kibuchung. Kibusums and Kibuchung Tare Seade, Tontate.
And in a different interpretation of Tara's mantra. So Om, another way of interpretation is Om. You can kind of further break down into three, as we explained in the earlier other mantra. Om consisting of three syllable, A, U, and Ma, and each has its own kind of meaning. And then Tare, referring to kind of liberation, freeing freeing from what, and freeing from rebirths of the three lower realms. And this is actually refers to, we can say, in from the three different levels of practitioners, three types of practitioners, or three capacities. This is the teachings of the small scope practitioners, freeing from lower rebirth and attaining of higher rebirth.
Omdela tapilunga isum, matapilunga isum sido, dubabarange matapilunga isum. Tar enipe Janjugi Jitsu on the Gala Sangi Copanto in the Tapilunga isum. One samloji tantu sjeni dungi na pento yonguri samgudu sirwa.
And when we say ma, consisting of 3 syllable, it symbolizes, as we mentioned before, physical, verbal, and mental entity of stage when it is impure, like current stage, and when you later, when you enlighten, there's it represents a pure, condition of physical body and mental of enlightened being. So these kind of understanding, with that kind of understanding, when you recite, it could be really beneficial.
Kashi no omde ngagi gondene inese level sungudu.
Sometimes we find Om being, the leader or beginner of any mantra. Any mantra or all mantra is started from this, syllable Om.
Oda tareze de kibuchungi chokor mitabaina mitabarapa ani ngason songenji pale trolne telinjine telikobini ba ta surim number taba zone ani montola da mi komantu biada tupchate ta petek chungchun chade yore o kibuchungi chokor mada yama mitabaina mitabarapa yuki zepal sene ni pe jindoya mitabarapa te nawe thoe ore mige thoe ore ta te kiti thingo ore kanche kibuchungi chokora ta te kiti mada thingo mara tupchan chungchun chade yore
So Tari can here have symbolism of entire teachings of practitioners of low scope, and attaining simply a higher rebirth of human or another deities or God, and then impermanence. Even the impermanence, it's not genuine or ultimate, but just a coarse level of understanding of impermanence, such as when there is destruction of cause, there's a destruction of, there won't be any result as well. So impermanence that can be easily seen and experienced by our physical senses. Second, tutari. So second can the first one, tari. Tari can as mentioned before, symbolizing entire practice of small scope, and tutari. This syllable symbolize the entire practice of medium scope, medium capacities. In that, in medium scope practitioners, they try to free from what is, tying them up is, karmic action and ignorance, and then attaining of liberation. So that tutari represents entire practice of the medium scope practitioners. And then, the third, we can say Ture Soha, combining this syllable symbolize the practice of high scope. In the medium scope, practitioners or capacities, they attain liberation, but however, not complete enlightenment. And in order to, purify further obstacles of cognitive obscurations, one, has to have practice of bodhicitta or altruistic mind, with the understanding of emptiness. And these two, as a method and means, one can completely eliminate all and every obscurations in attaining enlightenment. So in brief, what we see here is basically it's kind of really summary of entire Lamrim practices, stages of path, in this short mantra. And there are, however, many different interpretations of this, short verse and mantra itself. But nevertheless, kind of it, as mentioned before, it kind of summarize entire practice of, stages of path in Gelugpa, like a Lamrim, and then in other tradition like, liberation ornament. And then the words of my perfect teacher, the entire text is kind of summarized in here. So, in brief, this kind of reflects, something that is common practices for any practitioners in order to kind of, go further into the practice of Vajrayana. So the common or general practices are represented here. So therefore, reciting mantra with this kind of understanding has far more benefit than reciting without kind of much understanding of the meaning. Also in the mantra of Buddha Shakyamuni, the mantra that Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha, in that mantra also we find basically same what we find in Tara's mantra, the entire summarized meaning of the stages of path, Lamrim. When it says Muni, literally means able, able to kind of overcome or dominate, so able to free or able to overcome, karmic action and ignorance, and and free from delusions. At one level, another level is freedom from overcoming obscurations of cognitive, and therefore attaining of enlightenment. So same kind of basic meaning in both mantras. So whatever mantra that you recite during chanting or gathering here, it is helpful, and it's good to kind of recite with some understanding of the meaning of what you are reciting. That would be more beneficial. 그렇죠. 되세요.
아니 그 자기 나 비텐데 잔네들 이제 제대로 망망 사베 게 사베 망게 게 그래서 중도와 아주 마시고
And they are, this meaning of the mantra becomes further more kind of detailed and maybe more complicated if you explain from the point of view of Vajrayana or Tantric teachings. So any questions? Yeah. Yeah, sure. After question, then you can read.
In some Asian countries, they do the thousand arms generosities practice. I wonder if somehow they got they believe in. Some people believe that charities also has Tara associated with that enlightened being. So how is the thousand arm Chandriji practice different from green Tara practice?
Asia ye bu ka shen na wal jeren si chang jen de nyam len che sho ro di gi en khala or da thanda der she di da ne thanda drame gi nyam len para la kheba khare ore lo de tin gi dewa to khare ore kheba khare ore lo do
druming 냠는 다 제리스 냠는 저는 원이 다 저가 좀 만나래 뭐 어떤 간지 냠는 시기나 바로 니가 제기 차대요래 이비시나는 제기 차대요래 아니 저게 지는 많아 여러마다 아니 돈이도 왜 싸워다 니진 자주기 삼는 니가 냠슬랭 거라 간지체나 저가 만다래 다디 윤도 도스 많아요 마다 제리지다니까 더룬 가래 제리지디 지진 드라마게 ចេ니 투마르데 데리게 네주지 던기리 수야도가 지금 도스체네디 지단 저가 만다라 마다 지금 상기기 하게 틀리기 전에 개발돼서 미워 말해 맞아 남아 생각 만다 중국 만다 차가
the practice of Chenrezig 1000 arm or eyes and Thara practice when we look at the actual kind of the text or scriptures that is used for practices obviously different and different vocabularies but and different lineages but similarities that both comes under from the four tantric practices, the practices of tantra action, and both has same content in terms of method and wisdom. It has requiring the understanding of emptiness, dependent origination, as well as the same the practice of awakening mind or bodhicitta and compassion. But however, the purposes of the both are also kind of similar, and in the kind of history, we do find such as Chenrezig born from the tears of Tara, those kind of stories. But we can say the different manifestations, but the role and function are pretty much similar.
쟁기 자주니 sem진 미동하지 같이 지고 야와탄 저기 캠바스 우수 차인다 sem진 동안에 끼엄들라 세 쟁기 자주는 마음도 미치다 소소 자와에 쓰지 부부지 소소 내가 좀 맞지기나 니 줄지가 소소 부부들 딴디로 와 왔다 대존의 쟁기 줄지니 심진 뇌마당시는 진짜 지두기에서 젠제시 시야데 덴데제스디 가움 순도 솔레데 마즈가 차시지로와 니기 차시진 뇌마당시 샤인사 심진 간디나 리탄게 메인사 젠제시 시야데 테리시 순도.
And the very name in Tibetan, we say Chenrexi, the literal, it has a meaning of not able to avoid, seeing of, unable to avoid seeing of a sentient being. So, in a sense that Chenrexi being, combination of all of the Buddha's compassion in one form and expression, Chenrexi has this kind of compassion towards each and every sentient beings that he or she never give up. Almost every time, for example, parents when they have a young kids, they look after that baby like 24 hours every day. So likewise, Chenrexi constantly watch upon or this through the practice of compassion. That kind of meaning in Tibetan would, and it becomes kind of more further kind of intense.
아니 야와산지 아기 춘이군의 루지래 남배군의 가가 잡아래.
So all enlightened beings we consider that if you look at the ultimate nature, we consider all same, but different manifestations or different emanations. Want to read?
Yeah, I wanted to share something with the group. I received an email 2 days ago from Alan Wallace, and it's entitled Support Nepal Earthquake Relief. And there are sort of two sections. One, dear friends, I'm sure that many of you are deeply moved, as I am, by the great hardships of the people of Nepal as a result of the recent earthquake and its many aftershocks. My revered teacher, Sakya Damala, has started a Nepal relief fund through Sakya Monastery in Seattle. And if you're inspired to do so, you can make donations of any amount, and then it gives the address and so on. And then the second part, please help Sonam Sering, artist who created beautiful statues at Venerable Gacho Rinpoche's centers in the West, including Kashi Choling, several others. He said that very small villages such as his are not getting any aid, and it is difficult for them to know when or if the large organizations will reach them. He is organizing helpers from his village who are in Kathmandu to get food and supplies to help the villagers. They will hire a helicopter to get the needed supplies to them. He is asking the same up for help, and if anyone wishes to make donations for quick relief, to please make donations, and then gives the information here. So I thought I would read this on a donation box, and I printed out a couple of envelopes with the addresses, so if anybody wants to contribute, then I can just mail them. Or you can just do it separately. I'll just give the information up.
Put another copy of that on the board as well.
FPMT, thank you, is also organizing action as is Free Tibet organization.
Ave Kove Shingam de Penda Dewa Mali Jongwe Ne Chere Zingwa Tenjin Gyasu Ishabe Sute Batu Tengyu Ji Chamba Pavu Jidara Kemp Kundu Sangbo Deya Deji Dende Da Gungi Jesun Dalo Jingya Wa Deda Tamje Rabdung Tēsum shabe ngyawa tamje ki ngōwa kāngla chodo ngākpa ten dāshin gewe tsawa de gun gya sāngmu chuchi rabdu ngō. The vast and circumference snow mountains, the source of all happiness and benefits, flows in a person, charity, chance, and gyata, remain until samsara ends. Just as the bodhisattva from Manjushri attain omniscience, and Samandabhata too, so now I to dedicate these mass, true train and follow in their footsteps. As all the victorious Buddhas of past, present, and future praise dedication to the Supreme, so now I do dedicate these sources of my merit for all beings to perfect good actions.